Hi, it's Hazel, and welcome to my channel, Hazel and Aka Design. I am here with the third and final baby book that a customer commissioned. And I wanted to do this flip through to show you that I made my deadline and that it is another, in my opinion, gorgeous little baby book. Now this one is for Paige. No, sorry, Paige was the middle one. This one is for Scarlett Ann. So, similar, if you've seen the other flip throughs, you know that this cover is soft and squishy, and it was made from a baby quilt. I have used the same scenario, same strategy, same technique for making this fiber and bead tassel. I think a little baby could have a little fun handling that. And similar elements too for the actual cover. This is like, I'm treating it as a photo frame, cute little baby. I used a piece of lace here to, I thought it would show up well. And of course, well, I should say between each cover, where these segments fell was different in each case. And with this one, I thought it would be good to have that piece of lace there as a backdrop for the word together. I've used a yo-yo and a fabric covered button. Now I have, oh, I guess I'll be picking threads for a while. Anyway, I used this hot pink skinny little ribbon, same sort of a closure as in the others, eyelet with a ribbon tied here. And you can see that, you know, it is pretty substantial. So let us begin. Now I do have a couple of things, whoops, off to the side here that I may or may not find a place to use. What I found with the last two flip throughs that I did is that I either found something that I had neglected to, you know, like maybe pockets that I hadn't put anything into or whatever. So in case that happens, or in case I find the perfect spot to use these things, I have them handy. I just used a safety pin. Now, I don't know if that's a bead or a button or what, but it's cute. And there are the little baby's initials. Baby book about this journal, and another one of those photo frames that hospitals used to give or sell with the particulars about the baby's birth and stats and so on. This is another one of those pages out of that beautifully illustrated baby book. And there is a verse. I did nothing to that page. This is just, I mean, you've seen this paper before. I used this black and white circular thing that I fussy cut just because it's cute. A piece of scrapbook paper. I used this lovely grosgrain ribbon that looks like a tape measure. And this one is light pink, so, you know, I think that works out nicely. Now, of course, if you've ever made a journal, if you've ever received a journal, if you've ever watched a flip through, you know that it's always a decision by the creator as to when is it done, how much is too much, when is too little too little. Now, of course, I could have stamped or stenciled or done something more to the pages, but honestly, I'm not bothered by the white space. And in fact, I think sometimes with all the color that has been used, it's probably restful for the eye. This is obviously from a vintage book, or maybe not a vintage book, but using vintage images. And the other side likewise. So by folding it in this way, I managed to, you know, keep sort of keep everything intact. Again, this was from a 50s book on motherhood. This is just like a little rogues gallery of babies. The other side of that, of course, and you know, typically when somebody is born, the whole clan, everyone is there to get to know the baby and enjoy the new presents and so on. With this one, I used a different sort of fabric flip. I did not put the sketched face underneath. I suppose if I wanted to, I could I could look for something, you know, as a peekaboo place there, or just leave it blank for someone to write something under. Now, I suppose if I poked a hole, but I don't know that makes, well, we'll just keep this on standby. Oh, I should tell you that in this case, the parents are farmers, and they're interested in biking and fitness. So of course I worked some farm elements in, including this Richard Scarry character on a tractor. And the closest thing I could find was this sort of cowgirl image with these little girl stickers. Not that impressed with the holster, but maybe that will be forgiven. So this was a, I can't remember where I got this from, but I've used a few of the sentiments in these books to create pockets because they're heavy duty. I used the last of these button stickers. And on this one, I had this bicycle paper that I got at our Odd Page Society swap table. And I fussy cut some of these yoga poses. This was a a chipboard, you know, flower. And I peeled it back several layers so it wouldn't be quite as thick. I found an what do you call these things? Wax seal, and just used that there. It's blank on the other side. Didn't do anything with this paper other than, well, on this side. So I included a father holding a baby, some die-cut little feet, and this I had stamped around. I think you might have seen that when I did that before. And then just a really cute piece of paper. So that's just, you know, just held it. Obviously nothing there, nothing. You must be familiar with this paper by now. And then this, oh, you know what? I'm not done either with this because I need to add some charms. Anyway, this is about falling asleep, and here's this girl with her doll in bed, so I thought that would be cool. When I realized that I didn't have any, sorry, I just see, you know, a micro amount that needed to be trimmed off there. So this was a sticker that says Sleeping Beauty. Oh, it doesn't look as good on this side either. So I just cut it in half and glued it onto the piece of signature string. It's a good way to keep your whatever you're adding nice and flat. And in this case, it's apropos to what the page is saying. So obviously I have 3 more strings to find something for. I will probably look for maybe her initial again, or find something else. Okay, these I did nothing to. Oh, maybe I'm a little premature with this flip through. I don't really like leaving these little stubby things here. So what I might end up doing here, oh, I've got some of these don't know that we use this paper in here. That would be cute. That matches this quilt. Okay, I'll just leave that tucked in there as a reminder then that needs some doing. Now, I'll end up with that on the other side, but I also have, you know, some strips, some strips and some stickers. And, you know, I'm using my stuff with gay abandon. So, you know, I can pick one of these wider strips, like maybe those polka dots, that would cover it. Oh, these are sentiments. This one doesn't work particularly well. Oh, mind you, now that I've cut something off there, it might. Well, something will be lost. So, okay, we will, maybe I'll leave this piece in here as well. Okay, I knew this was going to happen. Oh, geez, another one. Well, do we want to do that all over again? I do also have something different here. I used this purple, but then I didn't have to cover that, so that might not be the best choice. Sorry about this, guys, but you know, it is sort of the reality. I have this, it's a 6x6, and of course I've got millions of pieces of wrapping paper, so that's another option. There's also this. This came out of a knitting book. Now I could... Clearly I have to think about that. Okay, keep going. This was a tiny little pocket that I salvaged off a baby dress. I added Scarlett's initial there, which is a Brad. And then I have these cute little words. They're from something called Spot a Word. And I put cow and pig in there. Other side of that paper, other side of that book. Here I just had this border off some scrapbooking paper, and it is bicycles and flowers. We've seen this paper before. Now this, I think I cut this off a, oh yeah, there's a part of a stamp there. I cut this off a sewing pattern envelope, and it's so cute. It's country, there's a chicken, or I mean a rooster, a fly, a cow, these little farmer fairies or whatever. So I just thought that was cute. And I added this bit of, what do you call this stuff? Cheesecloth. So, of course, accounting firm, ledger paper. Oh, and I didn't cover this up. I wanted to cover up this stock number. So I'll need to add, no, that's far too big. So I'll probably just find no, that's too peachy. I'll have to find something to add there as well. And believe it or not, I did sort of start, now this kid might look like a boy. Does that look like a boy to you? I could wrap this around, or I could just cut it flush there. I don't know if that's the best picture. Well, this is similar to the baby on the cover. We'll throw these guys in here, thinking that maybe one of them might work. I also have this little cutie patootie, but, oh, even that one's big. Oh, okay, why don't I just use that one? Oh, and there's a kid on the other side, too. Well, let's use the one whose head is whole. I prefer my babies with their heads whole. Oh, you know what? Another thing I have here, whoops, just poked myself. Another thing I have here that I haven't used is a tab, but would that be a bit ridiculous? Let's just see how that looks. Well, number one, I don't like how it matches. So back to the baby. And this will just cover up that little bit of a, I don't know, that was when, before they started putting branding strips on paper, I guess, and they just printed whatever they had to write on the back of the paper, but that's no fun if that side is going to be visible. Okay, keep going. This little pocket with this patchwork and some of that fancy stitching and the little machine embroidery, this came off a tiny little skirt / skirt. Like I think it was a little denim skirt with a frilly bottom, these sorts of patterns. And it might have had like the little diaper type liner. It was that tiny. So anyway, I salvaged the pocket and removed, so of course, once I started, I wanted to reduce some of the bulk. So I took off the back side of this, this seam here. However, because the flounce was also added there was that extra layer. So of course, as I started picking away from it, some of the threads started breaking. So what I did was I put, I think it was my Tombow. I put this Tombow glue over the stitching and waited for it to dry so that it would sort of seal in place. Otherwise, I would have lost half that orange stitching. So these are just kind of cute little, animal things. So birds pecking at a loaf of bread. That's, I guess, one of the 3 little pigs. And a cat and a rabbit. So I think this is ultra cute. This is just out of a book. Another cute little black and white baby. Oh, see, I should put some washi tape or something here. Now I do have, okay, I think I'm going to use this floral one, so I'll just take this, or I'll just leave that there as a reminder. I had a strip of this footprint paper, just like I showed you with these other strips. So I just kind of folded it, whoops, like so. No, you won't be able, I don't want to move the book because then I'll be out of frame. And this is part of something, you've seen this over and over again. It's on a piece of lace and I just cut the mauve part off and, ruched it up. I'm not even sure what these are, but I have a few of them. They've got that hole in the middle, so I don't know. I guess you're supposed to thread something through it. And then on the back side, all I've done is fold up a piece of paper and stick it in there. Sometimes with these small envelopes and when they're sewn in, it isn't that easy to access the space. Okay, on this one, I had these cute pictures of booties. So those and these. And in order not to lose either side, I just glued it onto this flap and folded it. Same grown-up girl paper. This was a different paper that I used in this book. I added this border here because I think there was some printing there I had to hide. I used this very elegant looking cluster. I glued it down on this belly band that has 2, like I separated the zipper. That was in my using zippers video, so it's just the teeth that are showing on either side. And then I just added, I tore a paper doily in half, kind of, fixed up the edges a bit and glued it down underneath for an extra layer. And this is rather beautiful. And again, to keep with the biking theme, this was a piece of scrapbooking paper, and this is just some paper that looks like corrugation, but it's not. On this side, I have this cute little girl with those chickens. Whoops, I just glued this down. Is it something catching here? And on the other side, a kid sleeping, so I'm just leaving that as it is. Although I have torn edges, I should tear this edge too, as opposed to, yeah, I can do that right now. Typically, and again, it's, well, it's obviously easier to do this before it's glued into something. I always place my ruler on the bigger side. Did that make sense? It's easier. Well, okay, let me clarify that. It depends how much I'm tearing off. If I was trying to tear off 1/4 inch, then I would be doing it like so, and I'd be pulling on this side. But because this is glued into place, I'm just going to have to improvise and do it like so. By the way, in case I haven't talked about this for a long time, I just made this tearing ruler myself, just by chewing away at it with an X-Acto knife. And of course, the edges get rounded over time with use. I should probably put something here as well, so I could put some washi tape or something there. You've seen this before. Okay, I need charms here. In this pocket, I folded up another page out of the Woolworths thing, added this sort of, faked a tab there. And this one is about dresses. So the paper itself, without a tab, it would have just been lost inside there. So that's never good. And then on this side, it's a book page. Here this guy is making up some sort of green soup. And here it's the five, the little pigs. This little piggy went to market, is what I'm trying to say. And because this is tall and it's poking out, I didn't bother with a tab there. Again, these stickers are just so cute. Here I just separated this thing. I cut off fussy cut each of the hearts and kept the It's a Girl intact. Added a little scrap of glue, put a couple of hearts down, and just, helped add some color and life to that paper. Now, in both of the other books, I used a wonky envelope. So I did here as well, because the other one was too wide for the size of the book, which, like, note to self. So this I had cut out of a pattern catalog, the big books you see at the fabric store, had backed it. I found this little yellow star sticker and stuck it on there. Oh, I have to add something. Oh, I did add something in there. It's very tiny, but it's red. So I'll probably have to add something more there. But I just thought this was really cute. And, that is sort of an invitation to lift it up. And this is out of that old German photography book. I chose it because it's rabbits. I have no idea what kind of farmers these people are, but, farm people tend to have, cats, dogs, and maybe some other livestock. So, and then I used this cute little girl sticker with that little Scotty dog. Nothing there. Here, I thought this was good, and it was salvaged from a book, the vanity type printing one where you can just order and personalize your child's or somebody's actual birth. They work that kid's name into the book. I used a bit of eyelet on the flap just to zhuzh it up a bit. I used another little sticker there. Seems to me I had to cover a mark or something up, and that's why I did that. But it's also a cute little thing. Oh, see, I'm so busy talking, I'm not really thinking about where, you know, this little tiny, hey, how would that, well, I guess that could be added there. I mean, you kind of, with a bulb pin, you typically need a bit of fabric. And of course, no matter how I put these darn things together, it's always going to be wrong, because I want this to come through this way. These things drive me a little batty, you know, just so you know. Okay, so I punched a tiny little hole in that vocabulary card. Kind of far from the edge, but that's okay. This little teeny tiny tag, and then a little pink ribbon to round it out, which is kind of cool with that pink paper. Okay, so one additional thing has been added. What the heck? Oh my goodness. Sometimes these things don't cooperate worth it. Darn. Okay, so that's fine. And again, I know I've said this in the past. Sometimes it's good to have some of the bulkiness towards the top of the page, because of course it kind of helps even things out a bit. With this, I just had this piece of green paper, folded it in half, and used some fussy cut farm animals. So you always want a farmer riding his cow, another cow, a sheep, and a couple of pigs. And then I just split up this, what do you call it, ruffle, just to, you know, offset it a bit. It's rather big in proportion, but that's fine. On this side, I discovered that I had another one of these purple. This is out of a wallpaper sample, and I love it because it's purple and it's people. Made it into an upper tuck and just put in some of this scrap of paper. And because there was some writing there, I just used another bit of that tiny little ruffle. Now on this side, this was where the flap from the envelope was, you know, way back when. So I trimmed the flap off there. I glued it there and there, which made it a tuck spot. And this is like little Bo Peep. And this is, I think this is a bingo card, or part of a bingo game, if I'm not mistaken. And it says cow rattle. I should add a sticker there too. This is a good quote and it's intact, so I just use this for a splash of color. But this is not, like, it's partly gone, so I need to do something there. Here, I wanted this tricycle, and there's an old granary in the background. We may think we've left behind the things of childhood, but they are always with us. So I folded this, and this looks like a typical prairie landscape. We need the storms as well as the sunshine to help us grow. So, and I just added this tiny strip of one of those sticker strips because it was, there was that gap there that needed a bit of filling. Now, I suppose I could use this here without losing anything, or I could also put it at the top. That might be better. So let's just peel off this backing. I thrifted these things years ago, and I'm just kind of forcing myself to use them because otherwise, like, what was the point? And like with most things, I'm just reinforcing the adhesive to make sure it actually sticks. There we go. Okay, I definitely want to cover that part up. And then on this side, it really doesn't matter. Okay, cool. Oh, and I forgot to put something in here. This, I took apart my own worn out jeans, and this is nothing compared to some of the areas that were worn, but this is sort of that, you know, little coin pocket or key pocket or whatever they call it. So I glued it down, like I have the backing there, but I glued the whole thing down. Now I just forgot that I still need to put something in there. So I will be looking for that as well. I guess, you know what, I have some of these vintage key cards, and these are all children, but they're also, they're not dated, but they're also, maybe I could just put this kid from Belgium there. Should I put, well, let's see if I can. They're not in great shape, and honestly, there aren't that many kids that, and I can't believe I'm about to say this, that I shouldn't assume. I don't know the ethnicity of this family, but you know, sometimes people need to be able to see themselves. And then some of these are not in great shape. Oh, there's where that missing die is. Okay, we'll leave it at that. We put 2 in there. I will see if I want to add a bit of a tab or something, because, yeah, these could disappear. So looks like that's more work. I just kind of liked that girl, so I added her there, and presumably she's looking up at something very interesting. Now on this side, now I realize this really doesn't match anything, but honestly, I don't think it needs to. There is, I guess, a tie-in to the Green Ledger page. This is just one of those, you've seen these before. Just a, you know, a journaling space that came from a 2007 scrapbooking type page-a-day calendar. This, of course, has a cow on it, so that's the farming connection. And then this was just green. And so I thought it kind of balances. Green, orange, green, pink. This is that same flip over or over the page thing. And here's the little shaker thing that I made with confetti and that little cello bag. On this side, I just used another outfit from a sewing pattern catalog. It had been backed on something tougher, so it will hold its shape there. Here's another bit of that bicycle border and this cute little kid I fussy cut. That's the back of that. Oh, I'd made these little teeny tiny booklets out of some very cutely illustrated, I think it was a baby book because there was a lot of space to write. So I'm just hanging that over there. And in here are the other things you've come to expect. The Winnie the Pooh writing board, the child's 10 Commandments, and the baby shower paper. Worksheet or whatever. So, in terms of having things that need to be fixed, or not fixed, but finished, this was a wee bit worse than I anticipated. So, I think that I won't be showing it to you again, but I think you've got the gist of what's here and sort of what my intentions are for fixing it. So, or not fixing it, but finishing it. So I hope that you have enjoyed this. I really thought I was done, but, you know, better to find this out with you than to let something leave my studio that I'm not completely satisfied with. So, thank you so much for being here. If you have seen all of these flip-through videos, perhaps you would like to tell me which one you like the best. So remember, it was Cicely, Paige, and now Scarlett. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for being here. I will be delivering these books in a couple of days. And then, believe it or not, I'm switching gears to something totally different. So, don't know what that is yet, but I'm looking forward to the freedom to decide. So, anyway, we shall see you again very soon. Bye-bye. Thank you.